Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Welcome to English grade 8 video lesson. Today we are going to cover our students learning outcome from unit number 6. This is about grammar and we are going to learn about adverbs. And not only adverbs, but we are going to see what are adverb phrases, adverb clauses. There are different degrees of comparison of adverbs and we are going to see them with activities. Let's read our students learning outcome. Now, it says use adverbs, adverb phrases, and recognize adverb clauses as needed in their speech and writing. Identify and use degrees of comparison of adverbs. Yes, just like we have degrees of adjectives, we are also having some degrees of comparison in the form of adverbs. We are going to see and recall adverbs, adverb phrases, and also adverb clauses. Now, let's begin our lesson. Here you can see the vertical linkage before you, which links your SLO with the previous grade, just for your interest and for the teacher's interest. Now, it's time to brainstorm and think about it. What are adverb phrases and adverb clauses? Why do we use them? Here, adverb phrase, here we explain how could we describe when or where using a short phrase. Now, to answer when something happened and where something happened, it is part of our adverb because we already know that there are different types of adverbs, adverb of time, place, frequency, etc. And in the case of adverb clause, how could you add more detail by using a full clause that includes a subject and a verb? We know, students, that our clauses have a subject and also a verb, and that makes up a clause. But when we are dealing with adverb clause or adverbial clause, we are going to point out adverbs in them. And adverbial clauses are always in dependent clauses. Now, how are we supposed to solve these two brainstorming questions? Can we answer them by using our knowledge of adverbs, and can we join our adverbs with these phrases and clauses? Yes, we can join them. Now, here you can clearly see that in the sentence, we will meet in the afternoon. When we will meet? In the afternoon. So, in the afternoon is what? Does it have a verb and a subject and a verb? No. It is just a group of letters and group of words actually, which we call phrase. And this is our adverb phrase because it has our adverb afternoon, which tells when something happened. This is adverb of time. So when adverb of time is linking with other words, it makes it a adverb phrase. With a smile, this tells us she greeted me with a smile. Greeted how? In what manner? In the manner of a smile. So this is an adverb of manner, and when you combine them with and a, it becomes a adverb, and this is adverb of manner, and this complete all these three words, when we take them, it means it is our adverbial phrase or adverb phrase. Now, let's answer the next question. Here in the sentence, she went to the bed early because she was tired. Now, why? Let's see if we have a question. She went to the bed early. And why? Because she was tired. So this answers our question of why. And here we have our subject and also our verb. So that's when we have a clause. But what is it? Yes, it has an adverb, and that's why we call it adverb clause. In the next example, similarly, we went for ice cream after the seminar ended or the movie ended. Now, when we went for ice cream after the seminar ended. So this part, after the seminar ended, this is our adverb clause, right? Okay. Now we have identified them. Let's read and recall the definition of an adverb, which is a word that modifies or it can describe what? A verb. He sings loudly. How is he singing? Loudly. Now, we also modify with adverbs, we modify adjectives and other adverbs as well, or even the whole sentence. As you can see in the brackets, fortunately, here in the previous one, quickly, these are our adverbs. It tells us when, how frequent something happens. Now, if you move on to the next one, we will talk about the different types of adverbs that we have. Let's see how many do we have over here. Yes. First, we have adverb of time. It tells us the time. It can be tomorrow, today, afternoon, etc. In adverbs of place, these adverbs, they tell us the place. Now, beneath the long straggly branches. Now, where are the straggly branches? Beneath tells us the space and position and the place. For adverbs of manner, we answer the question, how is something happening? She ate. How did she eat? Quickly. So this is also an adverb, but this is telling us manner. So we call it adverbs of manner. Now, adverbs of frequency tells us how frequently something happens. So I usually get up late on weekends. Now, usually, it means on regular basis. So this is also our adverb. And it's also ending in ly, and this is adverb of frequency. We have adverbs of degree, explaining how something happens in what intensity. Yes, either it's in a low intensity or harsh or something bigger. So she hardly remembers anything about the accident. She hardly remembers. It shows that the memory is very problematic now. She hardly remembers anything. So this is adverb of degree. Adverb of reason tells us the reasons. I was ill, therefore I took the day off from school. Now, all these kind of words, therefore and hence, these are adverbs, but they are showing reason of any action. And for adverb of quantity, you explain the numbers with its petals on, all worn, not enough rain or too little. So not enough, too little, too much, so much, these are adverbs, but they are telling us about the quantity of something happening, in which quantity, in which number we are talking about. So let's see how many do we have over here. Adverb of time, place, manner, frequency, degree, reason, and quantity. So it is very important to memorize all these different types of adverbs, because we can easily, after that, we can easily recognize them. Now, here, I'll do the first one with you, and then you're going to do the remaining by yourself. You have to identify the type of adverb which we learned in the previous slide. So, for example, the boy practiced his speech regularly. Can you spot the adverb? Good. This is regularly. It's our adverb. But what type of adverb is it? Is it adverb of time, place, or manner? This is adverb of frequency. So, I would ask you to go through the previous slide again and learn all these adverbs and types by heart and then solve this activity. Now, just like we are familiar with adjectives and their different degrees, we are going to see degrees of comparison in adverbs. So there are three of them: positive, comparative for comparing two things, and the superlative degree, which stands out among all other things. So let's see, we have a word early. If we are in comparison, we'll call it earlier. And if we are comparing it with the rest of the things, more than one thing or two, we call it earliest. Now, you can see that adverbs which end in ly, or they have three or more syllables from the comparative, we add more and most. Angrily will become more angrily, most angrily. Now, here we have two scenarios. Words that are not ending in ly regularly, we are not adding any ly. Now we are going to see them. Fast will become faster and fastest, but brightly will become more brightly and most brightly. So we want to use more and most just like we use them in the degrees of adjectives. So you can read this chart by heart. This was taken from the page of the book. Now let's do the activity, students. Be prepared. So we are going to fill that with the correct form of adverb and the comparative or superlative degree. I speak English. Now the word is fluent. We are going to make it into adverb. What are we going to do? We add ly and make it fluently. But now we are comparing it with the last year. So we will say, I speak English more fluently now than last year. Now, I hope that it is clear. You can solve the rest of the questions by yourself. Students, let's move on to adverb phrase. These are phrases, group of words, but they have an adverb in them. Now, let's look. The cat is hiding under the table. We stayed inside during the storm. Now, can you spot the adverb phrase? Yes. Under the table. Where is the cat hiding? Under the table. Now, this is an adverb of place, but it is also combined with preposition. So we call it adverb phrase. We stayed inside during the storm. Now, what is inside? Inside is our adverb. It tells us about the place of something happening. So we can call it, so this part, inside during the storm, this is a phrase that has our adverb. Now, you can solve all these exercises by yourself. This is about adverb phrases. And now let's talk about clause. And when we are combining some words with clause and that has an adverb, it becomes adverb clause. An adverb clause is always going to be in the dependent clause, students, not in the independent clause, and it describes a verb, an adjective, or an adverb. It tells you and answers questions like when, where, how, why, or to what extent, or under what conditions. Let's look at the example. We will not have school today because it snowed last night. Last night is our adverb, yes, and because it snowed last night. This is a clause, and this is dependent on this sentence, this part of the sentence. And this also include our adverb, and that's why we call it adverb clause. Simple. You can always find it in the dependent clause. Now, you have to identify adverb clauses in these sentences, and you're going to do them in your classroom. or as your homework also. Now, here's also an activity about adverbs and its types. You're going to read the description and perform the activity so that we can memorize all these different types of adverbs and practice them and learn them by heart. The simulation link is attached to gain more knowledge. And for your homework, now that we have learned adverbs, adverb clauses, and adverb phrases, you're going to make sentences using adverb clauses, and you have to include all types of adverbs. So include all types of adverbs, but use them in adverb clauses. Here is your worksheet related to the main lesson, and for your resources, we have the presentation, the skill sheet, the lesson plan, and also a worksheet to be solved by you to enhance your learning and testing your knowledge. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that now we have covered our students' learning outcome. You are now able to identify an adverb clause and also an adverb phrase. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.